And I tried to stop it before, but I couldn't do it. Damn it! Now I gotta do like 2-part YouTube thing because of this. It's fine. That's fine. Whatever. I'll figure it out. I'll wait till see if it goes back on. All right. Looks like we're back.
All right.
All right. Yeah. So. Yeah, I understand your frustration. I also agree. I like the fact that you can basically, with transmogging, you can always get your full tier set because, you know, like the Death Knight tier is like the DPS pieces for us, but we can get the tanking pieces, which are for warrior and transmogging, and we'll all have the same look. So I gotta know personally, how does it feel to know that within 2 weeks of me returning, I got the full heroic set as well as the transmog set, because apparently Zonker was nice enough to pass the belt to me. Thanks again, Zonker.
Scumbag Eric is your new name.
Scumbag
that's how I feel about that. But yeah, like I said, Riggs, bringing in a new tank every day just to take my transmog belt. That's the last piece I'm missing. So
yeah, that sucks for you guys.
Yeah, go F yourself, Eric.
Soccer knew how important it was to me. And people ask me all the time, they're like, why don't you transmog something else? And I give them 2 reasons. I'm like, number one, this is the current heroic tier, and I usually like to wear the current heroic tier. That's one reason. But the main reason is I'm the only warrior in the guild that has the full transmog set, so I gotta wear it, basically. That's my thing. But that Exalted set, I don't know, man. I'm not in on that.
It's Sinner has part of it, I think. But,
yeah, I've seen it. You know why? Because he ganks me on his main when I'm leveling my rogue. So
that's what you get.
I see
you
him
get the
with
full
his
set, but you get ganked.
with his stupid set and his freaking, what is this? His Ulduar swords or some dumb crap like that. Whatever. Man. So what did you think of the weapons for Dragon Soul? Obviously, they before the rag weapon was all pure raw stats, 2 red sockets. It was crit mastery, which was perfect for Titan's grip, and obviously you got to modify with hit or whatnot. But pretty much, essentially, the 2 big stats for Fury at that point. Or maybe was haste better at that point, or was it changed?
No.
It was still mastery, right?
Yeah, still mastery.
Yeah, because they've made so many changes to warriors. I lose track of a lot of them in Kata. But yeah, what did you think of the direction they went with?
I mean,
endgame weapons.
They essentially just gave every class a legendary. Is basically what these weapons are. I mean, they're super RNG one, and okay, not one. 12 fights in a row. Mine will do 0, and Center Mighties will do 1,000,000. So. I mean, that's basically, a legendary for every class.
Yeah, I know once I joined the Heroic Girth Club, I think that next week, I did 17% of my damage was my girth, and I did like 2 million on Ultraxian. I was like, oh, cool, my gear's catching up, but I noticed I did way more than Sinner. I think it was Sinner. So one of the warriors were in that raid, and like my girth just did like 4 times what his did.
Yeah,
and I totally agree with you. It's like every class has its own legendary. At least, again, from at least my perspective, like if you put 2 or 3 sockets on the girth, gave it crit in like hit or whatever, it would be legendary. I mean, the proc is pretty amazing. It also scales with attack power. Is that right?
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't scale with attack power, but I think it. I'm not sure if it scales off spell debuffs. I think maybe it does. Like, the 6% spell damage or whatever. Because, I mean, in the PvP, too, man, it's basically a mind flay, so it slows people. So it will, if you don't have, piercing howl or hamstring on the target, it will slow them.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's pretty nuts. And PvP, and I think basically solos people. So.
Yeah. Before Sinner takes your thunder, Do you know why dual wielding two girths is bad as opposed to taking the second? As like
Yeah,
you're using the mace right now as your offhand.
Yeah, it doesn't actually up the proc rate to like you don't get the same, like you don't get double the proc rate basically when you have that, and the weapons basically outweigh the little bit of extra damage that you would end up getting because like I said it doesn't basically double the proc rate. It won't make it to where it's procking instead of 8% of your damage. It's not going to make it 16. It'll make it like 10%. So.
But does it still increase? Do they still have separate internals, and do they have separate?
Well,
do they
these
still
weapons
work
don't
separately?
actually. They don't actually have these weapons. Don't have internal cooldowns. There is no cooldown on these weapons. I mean, they can proc. I mean, I'm sure you've seen. When you go in Blade Summer mob, you can see like 4 or 5 up at a time, because they don't have an inner cooldown. But I think what it is the weapons like share the weapons. I think they do share like a spell ID maybe or something like that. I don't remember exactly how it works, but I'm pretty sure that a 416 and a 403 girth is better than two 416s.
Oh, because
yeah.
that makes sense. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I guess that's because of the spell ID stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why. I'm not sure exactly, but.
But now, even with that taken into account, let's say, so let's say in your offhand you have your 403 girth. The stats from the 410 heroic mace outweigh that completely.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one thing I wondered why people didn't use two girths. Then I heard like, oh, you got to use one from a different item level because of whatever reason.
Yeah.
But then I wasn't sure if the heroic weapon was better or not. But yeah, so obviously you're not a retired member. You are currently an active raider.
Yeah.
This isn't your retirement interview. This is literally getting to know one of the guys that are pushing the guild, making it what it is today. The name lives on, because of people like Juvie, and they're reaching great heights because of the dedication that Juvie's putting in and everyone else is putting in. So let's end on this, and then we'll go to QA. What are your personal and guild goals for Miss, and what is your attitude level, and maybe anticipation, or tell us about your overall feelings going into this next expansion, because you're starting fresh with us. You're literally you're going to do the level grind, you're going to do the beta testing, relearning your class, everything. Tell us about your feelings with that and what you think the future has in store for the guild and yourself.
I'm definitely really excited, with where we're heading. Like I said, I definitely like, being super competitive, and I definitely think that's where we're headed. We're headed to more, competing for US first, and, hopefully getting the US scene back to the top over the Europeans, using Eric's lingo. From the,
man, that's not even fair, man. That was just something. It just came to me when I was just saying that. Everyone takes it out of context.
Yeah.
It takes it the wrong way. I mean, whatever. That was one take, folks. One take, not scripted. So.
All right.
But anyway.
And then yeah. I mean, like I said, I definitely like the direction we're going. Everyone's insanely hardcore right now, and I mean, we've been talking about some pretty nerdy things as far as the guild goes, and if they come through, I'm sure everyone will end up seeing it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will actually enjoy it. So hopefully that ends up happening, and that'll make the game a ton more fun.
Cool. All right, well, let's go to chat and see what kind of questions you guys have. If you wanna do the answers and stuff, just hit up chat, and Juvie will give you some of the answers. What do you think the pros and cons of playing Warrior and Ret are? Which do you consider is better overall? Since obviously you mentioned, I'm guessing this spawned from you mentioning you wanted to potentially main change.
Obviously, I mean, Warrior's strength is by far, movement. Their movement is insane. You can go arms, and you can have ridiculous AOE. Ret's AOE is pretty bad. They don't have good AOE at all. I mean, Divine Storm is laughable, and you have to change seals to do some AOE. I mean, it's their AOE is pretty laughable. I don't even bother AOEing on your Saj, usually because we have other classes doing it, and like I said, the red AOE is pretty laughable. And then their single target, I mean, it's pretty good. They have really amazing CDs. Obviously for Spine, they were really strong. I mean, Zealotry and Wings going on 2 minutes with the right now with the 4-piece where you're getting like 38% damage increase for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
That's for sure.
And I like the changes they're making too, and Mop to where every ability basically that you use is going to give you holy power instead of just CS, which I think is going to make the rotation a ton more smooth. I definitely enjoy that, I think, a lot with my ret, because right now it's I mean, you can predict the judgment holy power coming, so it's not too bad, but the delay is a little annoying. So, but with everything giving holy power, it's definitely going to make it a lot more enjoyable, and I think it's definitely going to help with the DPS. I mean, they're definitely not top DPS. They're probably middle of the road DPS right now.
Right.
I mean, that could just be our Reds too. I don't know. But yeah, they're pretty much middle of the road DPS, and Warriors are, at least Arms Warriors are pretty much top with Fire Mages. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, playing alt ret paladin. That's an interesting change. I'd love to look into it. If everything gives you holy power, as opposed to just relying on Crusader Strike, that should be interesting. See where they land in the next expansion. Let's see. We got a question here. For a returning player looking to get back into raiding 3 to 4 nights a week, what's the best way to find a solid guild? He plays a tank paladin. Perhaps, yeah. I mean, given the fact that you obviously joined Blood Legion this tier, sort of, what do you think he should do? What are some of the things you think you can give him advice for?
I mean, basically, depends on what kind of experience you have right now. I mean, if you have experience rating T11, T12 hard modes or T13 hard modes, it's obviously gonna be a lot easier. I mean, if you want my advice, man, come to Illidan, Horde Illidan. There's 1,000 guilds that you can join. Ranging from, I'm sure we have late night guilds here too. We've got Asian guilds. I wouldn't doubt if we have some Australian guilds here as well. But I mean, pretty much, if you want to make it up to BL, I mean, you got to work your way up. You gotta do your due diligence and a lower end guild. Like I said, I worked up from, I think I went from top 20 US, and then I ended up joining Out of Line, which was like top 15 US, and then I ended up joining BL, and I got pretty lucky on mine. Getting to know Rig and stuff. I mean, that was definitely a big help. So I mean, it's gonna be pretty difficult for you to be able to work your way up if you don't have any previous experience. But with MOP coming out, man, it's like your best chance. MOP is a complete reset. You know what I mean? You just need to hit 85 first night. Don't go to bed that first night. Go ahead and try to hit max level to 85, and then you can end up pretty much finding any guild at that point. Like I said, every gear is resets. You can't say you're behind in gear. I mean, you can. The one thing you won't have is you won't be able to say I raided in Kata, but I mean, that's not the end all be all. Like I said, I didn't raid in Wrath or Burning Crusade really, and I was still able to join. So.
Just 2 quick corrections. I think Zon Crusade, I said this tier he joined. I meant this expansion.
Yeah, expect, yeah.
And then Juvie said 85 instead of 90.
Okay, yeah, 90.
So just for you guys who are gonna comment and make fun of either myself or Juvie, there's your correction.
Wow, man, you guys are making fun of me? It's not nice, man.
I'm telling you, man, they'll bust you up for anything. Yeah. So here's a quick question. Do you prefer legendaries being random drops or quest lines like they are now?
I mean, quest lines are fine. I actually enjoyed the random drop part of it. Quest lines are okay, but I definitely think they should be harder quest lines. I mean, getting a staff and a dagger, those just all you got to do is show up every single week to 8 out of 8 normal mode, and you'll have your legendary. I think they should do something like you got to kill the last boss in a hard mode. I mean, that may limit a lot of people on who get legendaries, but I mean, I think it should be limited. I don't think they should be given out to pretty much anyone who shows up, you know, on Saturday, every single like once a week on Saturday, shows up, logs on, does his DS, logs back out, and gets a legendary.
I know for me, there are two sides to the coin. I feel the legend has been removed from legendaries.
Yeah,
Not necessarily because it's quest lines now. I didn't like the random drop because, you know, like a lot of people were like, why is like we had like 4 sets of warglaives completely made. Two of them were actually built within the first 6 weeks of killing Illidan, and there were tons of guilds who killed Illidan before us who were ranked higher or better at the time, and they didn't have any. I mean, I felt like that was ridiculous. I feel like it should be based on performance. Hard mode should be a huge, much larger factor. But ultimately, I understand what they're trying to do. Make casuals, make it more accessible, right? Maybe rather than normal taking twice as long, I'd say let it take 3 times as long. I don't know, or whatever. Or maybe let there be a hard mode legendary. Like that has an extra kick.
I can agree with that.
Something like that. For me, again, it sums it up. The legend is being removed from legendaries, just like the epic was removed from epics. As tiers progressed, epics in vanilla meant you rated 40-man content. Epics in Burning Crusade means you did a 5-man on heroic mode or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you have valor points. Like, give us hard mode legendaries or give us artifacts in hard modes.
I can definitely agree with that.
Give them something like that. I think that would be a good change. I don't like the random drops, even though I was lucky enough to get a Thunder Fury very early in my career, which carried me all the way through halfway through BC because it was so broken and ridiculous. I love the Shadowborn quest line. I'm enjoying the staff quest line, even though I'm terrible at my Warlock and Kata, and everyone laughs at me trying to do it, which we will continue to do as I progress. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see, where was I? This guy was asking for Single Mind Fury, why is the Khaled from
It's about the Agility X, I'm pretty sure. The Agility.
The Agility Axe is better for Single Minded Fury.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
And that's because the Soul Drinker proc is terrible?
Yeah, the proc.
Is that the only strength weapon? Good. Isn't there the Axe off Morchok?
Yeah, but I mean the weapon damage from the 416 is worth it.
Oh, you mean the... Is this the Axe off Madness?
Yeah, he's some of the 416 Axe, the Agility one.
Right, so the proc on the Axe is better than all the stats, including all the strength you lose.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. Soul Drinker is garbage. FYI. There you go. Let's see what else we got here. This guy repeated it. Don't worry, guys. I'm going through all your questions. How do you... Huh?
Go ahead. So, it was Charles from Vodka, I think, asked my question earlier, too. About Rets and Warriors.
Oh, okay. Vodka is not a banned word in my stream. FYI. Actually, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I have no beef with the Vodka guys. This is me personally speaking. I don't think the guild has... I mean, really, we're all people. Hung out with them. Sound reset, great. Alright, there you go. I love hanging out with the Vodka guys. They were really cool. They actually asked for some BL swag. I gave them like all headbands and stuff. I got a chance to sit down and talk with Lancel. He's a really cool guy, really, knows his stuff. And he was giving me advice on Fury Warrior. And again, this time, I basically told him I was retired. I remember he was telling me, trying to help me out with tips on Fury Warrior. And then his guild, he's like, what are you doing? You're teaching the enemy. And he's like, don't worry, he's retired. But now I'm back, so now I have all that knowledge. No, it's whatever. But yeah, so I got no beef. They're cool guys. I really like meeting everyone. But yeah, obviously, what's interesting though is I always said I respected Vodka because they never said anything. Like they never talked crap. At least to us, about us, whatever. Whether they did with other guilds, I'm not sure of. But as soon as BL started going up, there was a lot more heat. Obviously between the guilds and however you want to spin it. I get it. It sort of gave me a different perspective on like when Exodus gets all the heat or whatever, whatever guild, man. The higher you are, the more people want to chop you down. Ultimately, I have respect for everybody, and I'm sure deep down everybody sort of we're all doing the same thing. We're all just trying to
Being nerds.
being huge nerds, yeah, on the internet. So whatever. Uh, Luke Rock says, "How do you stay interested in raiding?" He feels like he only logs on because he doesn't want his friends down. What else is there? What's keeping you interested in it?
I mean, like I said, this type of guild, really can't take a break. You know what I mean? And I pretty much just look forward to progression. And I mean, for farm, for everybody is boring. You know what I mean? It's farm. There's a reason. It's difficult to get people online, and that people go a little bit more casual during farm. But I pretty much I got to stick around to save my spot, or Eric's gonna take it. So I can't go anywhere. And I mean, I enjoy the people I'm raiding with too a lot. Riggs, he rages, but he's pretty funny. Pretty much all people see is the raging part, but it's actually pretty fun to raid with them. I mean, everybody else, Dan Zoomkins, as you guys probably know him, he streams, he's funny. Dexter, even if he's an idiot a lot of times, he's funny. I mean, pretty much everybody I enjoy raiding with, so I mean that keeps me around.
Here's a question from Milk Does. Why does Zonker always go juvie? What is that? What is that?
Dude, I don't
Tell us what was the
uh,
first time you remember him saying that to you?
I honestly can't remember when it started. I want to say maybe in T12. I think it actually may have happened on like Neff sometime. It's basically anytime I talk shit or make fun of Zonker, he just goes juvie. So pretty much anytime I'm like being an asshole, he just goes juvie. So I mean, who knows, man? It's his thing. He just loves saying juvie, and then if I'm an asshole to him, he G kicks me from one of my random characters out of the guild. So he may armor me one day, and I'm not in Blood Legion. That's because Zonker got made fun of.
Was it you or Opti that Rig basically accidentally invited to the wrong guild and lost?
That was Opti, but that
Okay.
was really funny.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Killio asked why you're playing Fury instead of Arms. If you want to just give him a quick one, since you already talked about it.
Yeah, it's pretty much its farm. We don't really need to squeeze out every inch of DPS, and I enjoy Fury a lot more than Arms. So I'm just playing the spec that I enjoy during farm. So
Yeah.
like I said, during progression, I played Arms on the fights that it was like by far and away better, like your Saj and Hagara. So
One thing to address, um, the guy who mentioned how do you stay interested in raiding? I can tell you from personal experience, a lot of why I kept raiding during some of it was Old War. I mean, the feelings arise a lot here and there back before for me. Not wanting to let people down is a huge one, especially like the role I had or whatever. Like that plays a huge part. But ultimately, and I apparently I've been getting a lot of crap for this from certain people. When I tell people, listen, if you need affairs to get in order, you're hurting us by not being committed 100%. It's better you go take care of your shit, come back later if you can, as opposed to, half-assing a spot or whatever, especially if you don't want to play. I've done to a bunch of people, and I finally took my own advice in Cataclysm. I actually found a note I wrote myself a while ago talking about how I need to figure out a way to, alleviate responsibility so I can try and organize my life. I mean, I finished school, whatever, I needed to get a job, whatever. Obviously, the time away has been great. Rig has been essentially a blessing to not only the guild but myself, being able to, continue leading it and continue the name, continue the guild. That was a big, important thing for me. And now, like I said, my affairs are in order, and I'm ready, willing, and able to come back and commit. And it's not to the expectations that I was used to from before. I know what's expected now, and I gotta do what I gotta do. So my advice to you, man, if you're not interested in raiding, try and help them out. with like a 2 week, month notice, whatever. Try and get replaced if you care about your friends or whatever. You want to make sure they're not affected by your decision. But if you don't want to do something, you're doing a hindrance to yourself and the people you play with. So figure out a solution and just go with that. Ultimately, you don't want to play with people who don't want to be there, because they're not going to want to be there as long as you, or they're not going to be as committed. You're not going to learn to fight. So there you go. One question someone asked earlier, Juvie, will you be streaming, and if so, why or why not? Tell us.
Yeah, I've been planning on streaming. Pretty much, I was streaming for. I mean, I recently upgraded my internet so I could stream. And I streamed for a day or two, and then my PC started overheating. So I mean, I only have an i7 950 with like a 4890 video card, so I need to upgrade that before I can start streaming. And I mean, I can do it now. I've been just waiting for the new Ivy bridges to come out there, or yeah, the new Ivy bridges come out before I went ahead and bought, and see if maybe those are going to drop the prices on the old processors. So.
Okay. This guy asks, how much gold is a good amount to go with into Mist of Pandaria?
For everything you want, honestly, I would probably be looking at, like, if I could, like, if you have a way to make gold, and if you have no problem making gold, I'd probably 400 men. I'd want to go in with like 400, depending on how hardcore you are going to be raiding and stuff like that. Because you're going to want to get the Dark Moon card when it comes out. You're going to want to be one of the first ones with that, which is probably going to run you 40k, somewhere around there. And then you're leveling your professions. You're going to want to get those up so you can get the raiding professions. And early on, that costs a lot. That's always a lot of cost. So, yeah, I'd say probably 300-400k is what I would want. I'd be comfortable going in with.
Yeah, I know most of us spent 200 average for Kata, and with inflation, I'm guessing 400 does sound about right.
Yeah, I mean,
Obviously,
DS alone, I spent like 200k or 300k on Epic.
Yeah, Epic Gems were pretty rough for you guys from Dragon Soul. That's what I know for sure. I mean, me personally, I was so behind launch of Kata. I dropped I remember dropping 150,000 just to make an epic chest that I used for like 2 raids. Like, yeah, you just got to do what you got to do, man. Like, it all depends. Like every day, every week that you wait to make stuff, it costs you less. So you got to ask yourself, are you a guy that's going to level up in 2 days and you're going to want, 600 both professions? Like he said, the Dark Moon card when that comes out, you want to make an engineering helm, whatever. You want to make your alchemy trinket, whatever. Like, you're going to be spamming pots. Take that into consideration. Take the time into consideration. And yeah, so ultimately expect to make a sizable dump in your funds right when the game hits, unless you want to take your time and wait till the market balances out itself. Let's see. Yeah, Zonker says Darkmoon cards were a lot more than that. I could hear him saying Juvie, so.
Yeah, well, the strength ones sucked, so I didn't have to worry about them too much.
Oh wait, what was it? It was weren't they?
Nature damage.
Oh, that was good for arms though.
Yeah, but I didn't play arms.
Yeah, well, that was halfway through tier 11. They were like.
Back then, dude, the Fury with those double maces, man, you got so many stats out of that.
It was a double.
With those the dual maces from, DM or no? What was that from? With the hit expertise maces, man, those things were like ridiculous.
I thought. Are you talking about tier 11? I thought tier 11 everyone uses.
No. I'm talking about the beginning of the game. I'm talking about just the very beginning of the game.
Oh, you're talking about the 3.8 Full Reaper that never dropped for me.
Yeah, I had 2 of those, man.
I had to craft a 2-hander. I never got a 2-hander drop from a 5-man. I got 1 axe, and I crafted the 2-handed mace because I couldn't get an offhand to go Titan's Grip. And I remember I had to be single-minded Fury using 2 of the swords off the same boss that drops the Full Reaper, because I tried that so many times. And my DPS was such garbage compared to Diggs, who got 2 of the axes the first week.
Yeah.
You know, like I wasn't ready to hit that raid. I mean, that's all my fault. And Diggs got decked out. He just started scooping up all the warrior gear. Oh, one thing I really want to ask you was warrior gear. Warriors, they changed warriors not only every tier, but in the middle of tiers. Mastery changes. You know, stat weights, hit changed, whatever. I mean, you name it, they did it. Like in tier 11, you went from shoulders are best in slot to gloves are best in slot to shoulders to gloves to shoulders again. I don't even remember. What did you think about that? Like the fact that you, like especially with our DKP, where you will essentially waste points on a tier you don't need or points on something you don't need because all of a sudden Blizzard decides to make one minor adjustment. All of a sudden you need to rethink everything that you're doing. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely annoying, but I mean, they gotta look at the game, in a bigger picture and changing stuff. I wish they wouldn't, but I don't think it's ever going to change. I think it's pretty much going to be the same way, every time. I mean, I think if they can help it, they don't. But I think at that time, what was actually the big change they even did? I mean, they made hit better than mastery, right? I can't remember exactly what they did though. They made it to where hit was better.
Okay, this is what happened. When the game first came out, hit was essentially virtually your number 1 stat because heroic strike was your main ability.
Yeah.
Heroic strike, their rage dump was the number 1 damage ability. So you had to spam hit. Then all of a sudden, they changed all that. So then all of a sudden, crit was good and mastery, and then they buffed mastery, then they nerfed mastery. That was the 2 things. Mastery was garbage, so haste was better. So you used the crit haste gloves, and then you would use the hit haste shoulders because hit was so good with the tier. Then all of a sudden mastery was the bomb diggity, and you wanted whatever crit as well or whatever, I don't know. And then the shoulders became the best, the mastery ones. And I remember passing on those shoulders one week to like Diggs or Taft or somebody because I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna use them. Then like 2 weeks later, all of a sudden it's the best one. Then boom, they won't drop. Like it was just, for me it was frustrating, but whatever.
Yeah, it was definitely a little gay. And then I remember having a gym, those green gyms, strength hit gyms. I think they were green. I want to say they were green.
Strength hit was purple, I thought.
Okay, well maybe there's a different green one. There's some green gym. I remember having a gym. I don't remember which one it was.
Like hit crit, I think would be green. I don't know. Like it was just too much. It was just a lot of whatever.
Yeah, and then I mean, as with random gear too, man. Do you remember like the cloak they came out with? Mid tier for Alakir.
Yeah. What did you think about that? The randomized loot.
I hated that. That was definitely really annoying. Same thing with like trinkets and rings they have now. I mean, like I don't think they should be having random items drop. And then that was definitely really annoying because you had to get lucky twice or like 3 times in our case. You had to get lucky that was on the table. You had to get lucky that it was the right cloak you needed, like the right stats.
Right.
And then you had to get lucky that you had enough DKP to win it.
Right.
So it was like a triple rate fest basically.
Yeah. Yeah, like I remember I got lucky and got the crit hit cloak. And that was better in Firelands because the Firelands cloak was ace.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah. And I never got the cloak from Alakir. I think you got the last one.
Yeah, I got the last one. Then I'm like,
and
Diggs,
Diggs had the first one, right? Was it Diggs had the first? Was it the neck or the
ring?
Cloak
No, Diggs got the first ring.
Okay.
And I never saw another ring till very late. I mean, I actually got lucky enough where I got the cloak, the ring, the neck. Even though the one off Sinestra, the tanky one, was better, which again blows my mind.
Yeah.
And then I actually got 2 of the swords, but when I got the second sword, I realized they're main hand only.
Yeah.
And I just flipped my shit. I'm like, why are these main hand only? I don't understand. Well, whatever.
Yeah, I never ended up getting that cloak, man. I was pretty pissed.
I felt bad. I really felt bad because you're like, "Hey, take it, no big deal," and then a week before Hard Mode's Firelands came out, I accepted a job, and the rest is history. So I felt
Yeah.
bad, that's for sure. Because every time I saw with the cloak, I'm like, man, that I'm like sitting here. I got a better cloak than he does, and he could have used it. But yeah, don't worry, I'll be doing lots more of that. Taking your gear in the coming expansion. So
Hey, man, you already come in and loot scooped everything with the best belt that you can get for transmog, so
yeah,
it's already begun.
it started. It's begun. So you plan on playing your warrior, at least for right now in Miss?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously I've taken up a lot of your time, and is there anything you want to tell the viewers or out there? Any last words? Well, not final, but at least for this interview.
No, I mean, there's not really much that I need to be saying. I pretty much keep watching. Hopefully, there'll be some new cool stuff coming out here pretty soon. And if what we've been talking about all day today actually happens, I'll be super excited.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. We'll see as time goes on. A lot of interesting stuff coming out of that in the woodworks. So thank you again, Joey, for your time. Hopefully next time you'll have a picture. People want to see your ugly mug, apparently, or maybe even a webcam so you can make faces.
Yeah, I'll look into getting that.
Thanks again. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a great weekend and Friday. The stream will be on random times. I think so we'll see. Just follow me, and then just remember the next interview is Wednesday with Notos. Looking forward to that. That should be an interesting one. Thanks again, Joey, for your time. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Take care.
All right.
Got it. Did we rest? Stop interrupt.